Right, let's do the headlines. And the General Superintendent of the Assemblies of God Church, Reverend Dr. Paul Frimpong Manso, is urging the national security apparatus to prioritize the security of Ghanaians in the wake of terrorism threats alerts. He was speaking ahead of the inauguration of the 30 million Ghana cedi new headquarters of the Assemblies of God Church at Ringway in Accra just this Saturday.
Terror attacks upon churches has been very, very unpleasant. Assemblies of God Church has really suffered because in Sri Lanka, our church and that of Catholic churches were bombed. When we came to Burkina, the first church that was attacked was Assemblies of God Church, where our pastor and his 2 children died, and about 4 of our members. The following week, 2 weeks, Catholic Church was also bombed. It is very, very pathetic and sad, and I express my condolences to those families. In saying that, I'm asking the security apparatus, those in charge of our national security, to help protect the masses, including our churches. I'm also encouraging our pastors, church leaders, and all religious leaders that we should not take things for granted. This is not crying wolf, wolf. So churchmen and religious leaders should take security matters seriously. When people come to our churches and they are behaving differently and their actions are abnormal, we should report them to the security people. The churches should learn to educate our people and to protect our people as much as possible so that they will be free from fear and terror attack. Assemblies of God is sensitizing our members. We are doing education. We are going to run various security seminars with security experts in our churches and outside our churches to come and help us, because the thing should be preventive. We must be preventive. We must be proactive. So as a church, we don't have to wait for such a things to happen before we play the blame game. So Assemblies of God, and of course I'm employing all Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic churches and all Christians to work together, and this should be a teamwork, because you don't know the church they will strike tomorrow.
Right, now according to Reverend Dr. Paul Frimpong Manso, the new headquarters better positions the church to serve Ghana.
Well, on Saturday, the President of the Republic will commission this wonderful building, and then the General Superintendent of America will dedicate it to the glory of God. This is going to be the headquarters of Assemblies of God Ghana, one of the leading Pentecostal churches in this country and a member of the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council. 2 years ago, we cut the sword to begin this work, and by the grace of God, we have finished it on record time. The membership of Assemblies of God, our pastors and friends, have really supported us to come thus far. The miracle is that not a single person was hurt. All our people have been protected, the contractors and the consultants. And we also want to thank the banks, EcoBank and lately Prudential, who have come in to support us. And of course the media. When we were cutting the sword, Joy and Adum TV were the only media houses who came to cover the sword cutting. No wonder they have been the first media to come to tell the world what is going to happen on Saturday. We are partners with Joy and Adum and all the multimedia for what they are doing. We are grateful. Come on Saturday. It's going to be wonderful. You may ask me how much this building costs. The whole building and everything has cost us 30 million Ghana cedis, not dollars. My media people were shocked. I said that it's God's money, it's God's people, widows, orphans, children have contributed this monies, and we have to use it judiciously with integrity and decorum. And the amount is fair for such a project that could have cost more than double. We thank our consultants, the contractors, and all people who have helped us to get that far.
Now, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jean Mensah, has dismissed as impossible suggestions that she intends to rig elections for the New Patriotic Party because of her husband's close links with the ruling party. Mrs. Mensah's appointment was criticized by the opposition NDC, especially because of the way her predecessor, Charlotte Osei, was removed. The party's flag bearer, former President John Mahama, on Monday also questioned the neutrality of the EC, citing what he says was the lack of transparency in the way the Jean Mensah-led commission has conducted itself since assuming office last year. Now, the EC chairperson is, however, challenging the basis for these claims. During a courtesy call on the multimedia group Tuesday by the EC's commissioners, Mrs. Mensah was emphatic that it will be impossible for her to rig elections in Ghana.
This is where we really need you to go with us along the way, because we are really ready. We are here to ensure that it is the will of the people that stands. We are not here to plunge this nation into war. And anybody, I mean, that's the only way. You cannot rig the election for anybody. The EC cannot. Even at the polling stations, you have your officials there. You parties must make sure that these are credible agents that they have who can be trusted, and they should be able to be trained to, take records of the results and so on. But the EC cannot, unless the EC wants to plunge this nation glaringly into war. It cannot happen. Right from the start to the finishing line, the processes are watertight, they are transparent, and we're looking to work with our partners, the media, the political parties, to identify, along the line, if there are some loopholes. These things should be unearthed so that together with the parties and civil society, the media and so on, we can plug those holes and tighten the screws.
Now, Mrs. Mensah said the EC is also working on a CI that will, among other things, track funding and financing of political parties. Right, we'll bring you that later. Apologies. Now, 3 residents of Manya Bonguno in the Lower Manya Krobo municipality are in the grips of the Eastern Regional Police for their role in clashes there yesterday. Spontaneous protests broke out in the area as officials of Power Distribution Services, PDS, moved in to disconnect power to the homes of defaulting residents. The police reportedly fired tear gas, to disperse the crowd. You recall the people of Manya Krobo sometime last year clashed with the then Electricity Company of Ghana over non-payment of electricity bills. Now, they argue that their forefathers signed an MOU with Ghana's first president, Kwame Nkrumah, not to pay electricity bills because their fathers gave the land for the construction of the Akosombo Dam.
We did not attack them. They did. We say we will not pay. They can take their power and we'll take our land.
The officials came to disconnect our electricity supply. We resisted. Then they called the police, who started brutalizing us. We have said we will not pay because the Akosombo Dam is on our land.
Now, Akosombo Divisional Police Commander ACP Cephas Bediako tells Joy News the 3 arrested will be put before court tomorrow while investigations continue into the incident.
The workers of PBS embarked on a disconnection exercise in the area as customers were indebted to the company. So when they got to Manya Bonguno area, some of the youth did not allow them to enter the houses to continue with the disconnection exercise. They attacked them and the police were called in. Police from Akosombo, Akuse, Somanya, and Odumanse, and even RDF personnel were calling from Kofodia. They blocked the roads with locks, and we dispersed the crowd, we dispersed them, and we opened up the road for the free flow of traffic. And 3 persons who attacked police in the process were arrested and are currently in custody. They are being prepared to be arraigned before court as soon as possible. This morning, the PDS staff continued with the exercise. The personnel of Ghana Police Service, Oduma Sekrobo, are with them, including the district commander himself. They accompanied them today and they continue with their work. I was told there were some skirmishes in certain areas, but it did not last long. Police were able to overcome those skirmishes.
Now, President Akufo-Addo has expressed optimism of the implementation of the Right to Information law, saying it will ensure transparency in government. The bill was passed by Parliament in March this year after several years of assurances by previous governments. But a day after receiving the bill, the President assented to it. He is, however, hopeful that it will it will help with the fight against corruption.
Sense of responsibility and commitment to good governance in passing this significant piece of legislation. The purposes of the Act, as set out in its preamble, is to provide for the implementation of the constitutional right to information held by any public institution and to foster a culture of transparency and accountability in public affairs. Properly applied, it should enhance the quality of governance in our country and provide a critical tool in the fight against corruption in public life. The Parliament has quite rightly provided that the Act should come into effect in the next financial year, i.e. January 2020, because there are financial consequences in the implementation of the law in order to give the public treasury the opportunity to make the necessary allocations to enable the Act to be effective. I'm very happy that this law has finally been passed, and I did make the commitment that when it was brought to me, I would give my assent to it right away. It was in fact brought to me yesterday afternoon. But on second thought, I felt that I should sign it in the plain view of the Ghanaian people, for you to know that this long, winding parliamentary process has finally come to an end. Long live Ghanaian democracy. May God bless our nation and make her great and strong. I thank you for your attention.
And there it is. Ghana now has a right to information law, except that it can't be implemented for at least another year. Okay, now a group calling itself the Free Media Vanguard has given government and the National Communications Authority 1 week to restore all licenses and broadcasting permits revoked from the radio stations that were recently shut down. Now the group, comprising mainly staff of 2 of the affected radio stations, Radio Gold and Radio XYZ, and notable figures in the opposition NDC and PNC, marched from LWAC Stadium to the NCA office in what they called the March for Free Expression, accusing government of using the NCA to suppress the media. It threatened to stage a series of protests until the stations are allowed back on air. Nancy MFI Jiradosi was with the demonstrators, and here's her report.
Chanting patriotic songs, the protesters demanded government changes what they refer to as the stifling of media freedom. They held several placards with inscriptions like "Akufo-Addo, you are a threat to free speech," "Leave Manasseh alone," "Enough is enough," among others. Some of them protested with sealed lips. To demonstrate the mouthpiece of the citizens, the media is being sealed by the NCA. Holding the placard "Enough of the oppression and tyranny," this protester described the entire shutdown of the radio stations in a few words.
And we, the citizens of this country, we don't want to go to retrogression. At the olden days, why we are in this country, that we can't even talk. This is why His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, his behavior
his attitude towards the media is like the return of King Agokoli.
In attendance were some members of the opposition NDC. Its former national organizer Kofi Adams accused the NCA of treating both Radio XYZ and Radio Gold unfairly.
After this work, I want to hear from the NCA that the letters that were submitted by Radio Gold and XYZ long before this attempt to go and close them is worked on and they are back on air. Nothing about claiming that they should be applying for a new license or a new certification or that kind of crap that I'm hearing. They should work on the letters that they have submitted and make sure that immediately they are on air and then doing their business.
Chairman of the People's National Convention, PNC, Bernard Mona, also cautioned if government does not seize what he calls interference with the operations of the NCA, successive governments will do same.
That our nation will not be subjected to such capricious decisions by the government and in particular by President Akufo-Addo. Given the precedent that Akufo-Addo is setting through the NCA, you should not be surprised that it will not be long when there is another president who feels more agitated by the presence of media. Multimedia will be shut down.
Former Deputy Minister of Education Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa called on the president to walk the talk as he claims to be the champion on human rights.
A certain targeted onslaught on opposition media, media affiliated or media that the government is not comfortable with, to muzzle the press, to stifle dissenting views, and that cannot be accepted in a democracy. President Akufo-Addo must show that he is a true Democrat. All the views we are expressing today are views he expressed. He even took cases to court.
When they finally arrived at the NCA, the group sang the national anthem. Delivering the petition to the Deputy Director of NCA, Madam Olivia Kwe, convener of the group, Prince Minka, charged the NCA to within a week reopen all the radio stations that have been shut down or face their wrath.
Today, we are petitioning you. We are asking you, we the Free Media Vanguard, we are humbly petitioning your outfit for the purpose of the given practical effect to the constitutionally guaranteed rights of free expression and a free, independent and pluralistic media. Unreservedly restore the broadcasting rights of all radio stations. Look.
Don't worry. I understand this. We receive this in the name of the authority and we will do what is right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it.
And that's how it all unfolded yesterday. And this is where we bring the bulletin to an end. But the show is only just kicking off. We'll bring you what's happening on the streets with traffic. And then Nimwizi joins us with the newspapers. Don't go anywhere.